Наланда.
The all-embracing net of views. While residing at the Ambalatika, the Buddha preached the famous discourse on the all-embracing net of views, which took place after he heard a dispute between the wandering ascetics Suppiya and Brahmadatta. Suppiya had criticized and ridiculed the Buddha's teachings, while Brahmadatta had praised them. That evening, the Buddha narrated the dispute to his students and taught them the importance of always maintaining an attitude of equanimity in the face of criticism or praise. Bhikkhus, whenever you hear someone criticize the Buddha or Dhamma, do not yield to emotions of anger, irritation, or resentment, which will only act as a barrier to your spiritual progress. Similarly, whenever you hear someone praise the Buddha or Dhamma, do not yield to emotions of happiness, satisfaction, or pride, which will also act as a barrier to your spiritual progress. Only with a balanced mind should you correct mistaken statements or acknowledge true ones. The Buddha then discussed how and why the 62 different types of philosophical speculative views regarding the laws of nature arise, how they contain errors and create obstacles to proper practice, and how they are eradicated by perfectly practicing the first factor of the Noble Eightfold Path, right view. Bhikkhus, these erroneous views deny moral integrity and the laws of cause and effect. They are not verifiable, and they are submerged in the belief of a permanent, unchanging soul. Accepting any of these wrong views is to fall into a thicket of views, a wilderness of views, a scuffling of views, an agitation of views, a fetter of views. All these opinions lead the seeker away from emancipation and are attended with suffering, vexation, and despair. The Buddha then proceeded to reveal to his students the method of practicing vipassana, which cuts through the entangling net of views. Bhikkhus, with regard to all of these, they experience these sensations by repeated contact through the six sense doors. Sensations condition craving, craving conditions clinging, clinging conditions self perpetuation, self perpetuation conditions birth. Birth conditions aging and death, sorrow, lamentation, sadness, and distress. When a bhikkhu understands they really are the arising and passing away of the six bases of contact, their attraction and their peril and the deliverance from them, he knows that which goes beyond all these views. The bhikkhus rejoiced at hearing such a profound discourse on how to remain safe from the net of harmful theories and dogmas in the world.
Pavarika's Mango Grove. Teaching of the Mirror. Shortly after his ordination, the 7-year-old Rahula went with Sariputta to live at the Ambalatika. The Buddha came to see how his son was faring as a bhikkhu and taught him the importance of maintaining shila, especially by avoiding lying or exaggeration, as children are often prone to do. Why do we use a mirror? The Buddha asked. To see our reflection, Lord, Rahula replied. Correct, Rahula. And in the same way as a mirror naturally reflects the image in front of it, so does a bhikkhu with a strong sense of moral integrity review his physical, vocal, and mental actions before, during, and after their performance. With proper contemplation, the bhikkhu can better evaluate whether his actions are profitable or unprofitable, and then shape the future actions accordingly. If a bhikkhu realizes that he has made a mistake, he should immediately confess his fault to a wise companion on the path of Dhamma. This will help prevent similar harmful situations from arising in the future. Knowing that he had made such mistakes in the past, young Rahula bowed to his father and made a strong resolution to be more careful with his speech in the future.
The highest miracle. Kevada, an eager and devoted lay disciple, went to visit the Buddha at Pavarika's mango grove. Lord, if you would only display supernormal powers, such as mind reading, flying, and walking on water, then all the local people would have great confidence in the Buddha and the Dhamma, Kevada said, hoping to convince the Buddha of his plan. Kevada, performing such magic tricks to impress people is low and vulgar. It increases the meditator's ego and does not relieve people's suffering. The Buddha answered with a gentle smile and sharp look into his disciples' eyes. The highest miracle, he continued, is eliminating the taints plaguing the human mind. Only by this manner will the masses be genuinely attracted to the Dhamma. Realizing that his own approach was juvenile, Kevada smiled and bowed his head to the Buddha. He left the Buddha with a new determination to practice the Dhamma with proper awareness and equanimity.
Discourse to Upali. The Jain ascetic Tapasi visited the Buddha, arguing that actions of the body, not of the mind, were most liable for carrying out immoral deeds. Unable to sway the Buddha into accepting his view, Tapasi left the Buddha and went to the ashram of his guru, the Jain leader Nigantanathaputta. Tapasi sarcastically narrated his conversation with the Buddha to his teacher, and to Upali Gahapati, an influential community leader and supporter of the Jain sect. The next day, Upali went to the Buddha to clarify why he proposed mental actions as more accountable than verbal or physical ones. The Buddha explained to him that the mind was the essential ingredient for all other actions. If any action lacked a mental volition, then additional karma would not be produced. The Buddha then gave various similes to illustrate his point. Suppose Upali, a Niganta practitioner, is about to die of fever and needs a cold water treatment, but refuses it on the grounds that using cold water is against his vows because it contained living beings. Are his actions pure according to Niganta practice? The Buddha questioned. Yes, Lord, Upali replied. What if the Niganta secretly longs for the treatment to relieve him of his pain? Are his actions still pure? No, Lord. In this way, the Niganta's refusal keeps his verbal and bodily behavior pure, but his mental conduct is impure. Upon death, he would not be liberated from cyclical existence. Wonderful, Lord. Can you give me another simile? Upali asked. The Buddha nodded and questioned him. Upali, can a strong man, with a single swing of his sword, turn the entire town of Наланда into one giant mass of flesh? Not even 50 men could do such a thing, Upali laughed. What about a recluse who's mastered his mind and developed certain supernormal powers? Can he do it with one hateful mental action? Certainly, Lord. A recluse with that level of concentration can accomplish almost anything he sets his mind to, he answered, understanding what the Buddha was getting at. Upali was impressed by the Buddha's clarity and wisdom. After hearing several different similes, Upali clearly understood the Buddha's point, that mental activities have greater consequences and greater power than verbal and bodily ones. Upali told the Buddha that he was actually convinced after the first simile. He just really enjoyed the way the Buddha spoke and wanted to hear more. After taking refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, Upali was warned to investigate his decision thoroughly. The Buddha did not want him to become a disciple just because it seemed logical at that moment. This impressed Upali even more, and he took refuge in the Triple Gem for a second time. The Buddha then told Upali that even though he was changing practices, he should continue giving alms to the Naganta sect, which for years had depended on his charity. Astounded by the Buddha's sense of compassion and generosity, Upali announced his confidence in the Triple Gem for a third time. Certain of Upali's sincerity, the Buddha gave him the progressive Dhamma instructions on 1. The benefits of charity, 2. Ethics being the foundation for liberation, 3. The harmfulness of overindulging in sensual pleasures, 4. The futility of conceit, 5. The bliss of renunciation, and 6. The 4 noble truths. The spotless, immaculate vision of Dhamma arose in Upali, and with a deep understanding of impermanence, he became one of the many Sotapannas in the world.
Silao, the exchange of robes. Early one morning, a man woke up and noticed a poisonous snake slither over his wife's arm, down the bed, and then out of the room. He woke her up and told her what had happened. He expressed his feelings to her about the transitory nature of life and the urgency in finding a teacher who could help him find the way out of suffering. With the blessings of his wife, he shaved his head, sewed together a robe from discarded rags, and set out on the road for the life of a homeless wanderer. Then, while resting at the Bahaputta shrine in Silao village, between Rajgaha and Nalanda, the man saw the Buddha approach and offered him his robe to sit on. The Buddha remarked how nice a cushion it made, and the man, without hesitating, gave it to him. The Buddha accepted it with a smile and then offered his robe in return. Receiving Dhamma instructions from the Buddha, the traveler realized and experienced the peace of an arhat. This man was the legendary Maha Kassapa. He went off to live in the wild and was soon recognized as the master of ascetic practices and the Buddha's fourth ranking disciple, after Kandanya, Sariputta, and Moggallana. For many Buddhist traditions, this famous exchange of robes symbolizes the transmission of the lineage of teachers.